see a different type of pictures of a tropical rainforest, a temperate one, coniferous, the one that we were discussing now, the grasslands, okay, the tundra, the deserts are there, and the Mediterranean is there, the mountain is there, the tropical grassland is there. And it is not always necessary that they have a clear line of distinction. Sometimes, wait, sometimes there are more than one different type of ecosystems, and and they share a transition zone. Okay, so there are likely possibilities. Like for example, in India, we will see that there are 5 to 6 different type of forest ecosystem in India. Okay, so of course there is no clear line boundary कि हाँ अब इस line के बाद में ये वाला forest रहेगा. Okay, there is a transition zone also where mixing of these forests take place. Okay. Okay. So let's begin with first understanding the types and their classification, so that it will be easier for you to understand. क्योंकि होता क्या है जब हम इन इकोसिस्टम को पढ़ते हैं तो खचड़ पचड़ हो जाते हैं फॉरेस्ट में, क्योंकि बिकॉज दीज टू हैव डिफरेंट सेवरल क्लासिफिकेशंस. ठीक, तो वो क्लासिफिकेशन जब हम पढ़ते हैं तो सब मिक्सअप होने लगता है, कौन सा टेम्परेट था, कौन सा ट्रॉपिकल था, है ना, और व्हाई वी आर कॉलिंग इट टेम्परेट tropical and what is this semi-Mediterranean or this is semi-tropical or subtropical. Okay, so we will understand them thoroughly so confusion. Now this broad classification, firstly definitely of the type of based on the nature of the ecosystem. They can be natural or they can be artificial one. Any one of you can tell me an example of an artificial ecosystem?
Ma'am, aquarium in home.
Very good, Sakshi. An aquarium in a home, right? Very good. And what else? What about your home garden? What about your small lawn? What about your terrace garden? They are also type of ecosystems, small ecosystems. Okay, and right from even a drop of water, that also is an ecosystem in itself. Because if you see, or if you take the drop of water that you have taken from the pond inside a microscope, you will see that there are several single cellular organisms of different that occupy different trophic levels in food chain. Okay, so that drop of water in itself. Yeah, beta. Any question?
Man, zoos and botanical
Ma'am, recording start नहीं किया आपने.
Okay, wait. Okay, fine. Let me begin with the recording.
This call is now being recorded.
Fine. Okay. So, and I think I haven't yet shared the recordings because most of them are Google Drive. So I think it's better that I should share the link of the Google Drive, because downloading them and then sharing them will become a bit difficult. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll share those links, and then accordingly you can check and you can have an access to those recordings. Okay, and because I have actually taken, okay, I'll segregate them department wise, no problem. Okay. Anyways, so we were discussing about the classification of ecosystem. You all have given a very good examples of artificial ecosystem, like a pond ecosystem, a home garden, a backyard garden, even an agricultural land. That also in itself is an artificial ecosystem. Okay, and yeah, anyone question? Anyone with a question?
A botanical garden and zoos also.
Yeah, they are all example. Yes, they are all example of artificial ecosystems. Yeah, zoos, exactly. Your zoo, your botanical gardens, they are all are examples of artificial ecosystems. Okay, with the difference that they are larger, much larger as compared to our home garden, and as compared to a drop of water. Okay, so even a drop of water is or has an ecosystem or can be defined as an ecosystem in itself. Okay. Now, there was one question that was and that was there in one of the question papers. I think it's the question paper from December 2020 that had asked the question that had actually asked the question. Wait. Okay, so the question was like, I don't remember the exact words. When I share the question paper, you will come to know about the exact words as well. So the question asked that they had framed the question in a way like you have a nearby pond close to your house, and you also have an aquarium in your home. Okay, so compare these two different type of ecosystems, and give a suitable example explaining how the succession or how the ecological succession or what are the different stages in these ecosystem. Okay, or different layers of these ecosystem, both in your aquarium as well as in your pond ecosystem, and out of them which one is more sustainable. Okay, so what means what do you think? I mean, what is your answer that I asked that out of this aquarium in your home and the one that is in the pond ecosystem, which one of them is more sustainable?
Ma'am, pond.
Okay, very good,
Ma'am,
Sakshi.
pond.
Very good, Pallavi. Yeah, it's a pond ecosystem, and why? And why? Because you also have to explain them. Even if you explain them it in 2, 3, 4 lines, then also it's good, but you have to explain them why. I mean, why is that natural pond ecosystem is more sustainable as compared to this home aquarium?
Ma'am, when there is large number of species, the ecosystem gets sustainable. तो अगर हमारा घर पे एक्वेरियम है तो वहाँ पे लिमिटेड जो जितने हम चाहेंगे उतनी फिशेज या फिर जितना एक्वेटिक एनिमल जो हम चाहते हैं वही होंगे. While in ponds, ma'am, in aquarium.
Very good, Sakshi. Very good. Indeed, we should say that the number of the species in an aquarium is very small and is just restricted. So we don't have a well-defined system of a food chain. Whereas in case of a natural ecosystem or in a natural pond, we have different species that are occupying different trophic level. So there is a proper energy flow. So why it is self-sustaining? Because you need not provide them with food. Okay, all species are very well connected in the food chain, and the nature is directly influencing and controlling them. So the energy flow and feeding process is taking place automatically. Whereas in that artificial aquarium, you have to provide with a source of food for the fishes that are there in your aquarium. You have to keep the water fresh by either changing the water or by oxygenating it. Okay, whereas in case of a natural pond ecosystem, you needn't supply or oxygenate them. There is automatically a biogeochemical cycling and the circulation of oxygen happening, which is checking the flow and the saturation of the oxygen in the water system. Okay, so that is how they are self-sustaining. Okay, they don't need any external support. They are not dependent on anything. That's why they are self-sustaining. Nature is already working in it by maintaining a proper food system, by a proper food chain. A complete food web is there, so automatically there is a flow of energy. Food dependency on one or the other organism, they are all independently doing it, and the nutrient flow and other geochemical cycles, including the oxygen and other gases, they are taking place, which keeps on refreshing the system. Okay, so this was the answer that has to be mentioned there. Okay, anyways, if we categorize these natural, so our focus is more on natural ecosystem. Okay, artificial में हमें बस इतना जानना है कि what are the examples and why and how can we compare the artificial one with the natural one. Now, of course, in certain cases, artificial ecosystem is also important because, say, for example, botanical gardens and your zoological parks and your aquarium. So sometimes they are very important as far disseminating knowledge is concerned to make people aware, okay, and sensitize people on different species of fishes or on different species of plants. Very difficult. Okay. Secondly, it also sometimes is important and plays an important role in the conservation of these species. Okay, so when I will take this unit of biodiversity in in situ and ex situ conservation, then we will discuss about these ecosystems in detail. Okay. Anyways, so our prime focus in this part is the natural ecosystem, which is broadly divided into aquatic and terrestrial ecosystem. Now, aquatic can be freshwater, marine, and a transition between marine and freshwater. Okay, so in freshwater, it contains your lentic, lotic, and wetlands. Okay, so I have taken one separate, not of course your class. It was a sort of talk that I had taken on wetlands, and I'll share that PPT with you. So if you want to have more amount of information on wetlands, you can have from there. Okay. Rest, it can be lentic, that is the enclosed system that have a defined boundary, that are ponds and lakes, or they can be lotic, like your rivers, which are the free flowing systems like rivers, streams, etc. Okay. Now in marine, they can be your coastal, means the one which are very close to the coastal regions. The upwelling regions, this is the area just after the coastal regions. Okay, so they contain the regions that is beyond this coral reef and your open seas. Okay, now there is one more classification that is between your freshwater and marine ecosystem, that is your estuaries or estuarine. Okay, so estuarine aquatic systems are the one which contains the mixing of the freshwater and the saline water. So they have a water which is neither too salty nor it's too fresh. Okay, so there is an estuarine ecosystem, and one of the best example of the type of forest these estuarine ecosystem harnesses. Can anyone tell? Can anyone tell the dominant forest in these estuarine ecosystem that contains mixing of both marine and freshwater ecosystem? Freshwater. See, you have to sometimes use your logic, okay, and you probably can gain the answer if you have heard and you have read it earlier. ठीक है, तो आप बता सकते हैं, of course. For example, now freshwater or marine कहाँ पर मिल सकते हैं? Definitely in the regions where the rivers are meeting open seas. Okay. Now, when the rivers are meeting open seas, those are mostly your deltas. Okay, they lead to the formation of your deltas. Now, Sundarban is one of that biggest delta, where that is formed as a result of mixing of your fresh water with that of your seawater in Bay of Bengal. Okay, so as a result of that estuarine flow or the estuarine type of water, there is a forest that is heavily dominated by mangrove trees. Okay, so mangrove forests are the dominant species of your estuarine ecosystems. Okay. Now, similarly, terrestrial are also broadly categorized further into grassland, desert, and forest ecosystem. Okay. Now, grassland are further divided into tropical grasslands, temperate grasslands, and polar grasslands. Okay. Similarly, your forest ecosystem is also divided into your tropical rainforest, tropical deciduous forest, temperate deciduous forest, evergreen coniferous forest. Okay, and then of course they have transition zones. So it can be your like subtropical rainforest or subtropical deciduous forest. For example, montane forest, that is MONTANE. Montane forest is the name given to your subtropical rainforest. Okay, so these are forests which are somewhere in the transition zone between your tropical rainforest and tropical deciduous forest. Okay, and then similarly you have different type of deserts, tropical deserts, temperate deserts, and cold deserts. Okay, now before we go further into details about these different type of ecosystem, let us first understand these different terminologies which are there. Okay, so can anyone tell what is the difference between your tropical and temperate?
I think the region where the temperature is around 65 Fahrenheit, 65 degree. So, ma'am, they are known as tropical regions, and the regions where the temperature is neither too hot, too cool, or too hot. So, ma'am, they are considered as to be or categorized as to be temperate region. Ma'am.
Okay, 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 okay. Anyone else? Okay, very good. Okay, fine. Anyone else? Okay, so let's understand it in this way. Like if we go this tropical, temperate, this classification or this distinguish is majorly based on your latitudinal variation of your Earth, latitudinal variation of the Earth. For example, let's go from okay, let's assume that you are standing on the equator, and now you have to move from equator to the polar regions. Okay, so those regions, bigger regions that are lying on the either sides of the equator, they are your tropical regions. Okay, so these are the ones that will have a temperature almost on an average from 25 to 35 degrees Celsius of temperature. Okay, primarily they have your 35, 37, 32 degrees Celsius of temperature and a huge amount of rainfall. Okay, now as you go more and more closer or away from the equator, more and more close to get towards the polar, you will encounter a region which is neither too hot nor too cold. It is somewhere in between your tropical and the extreme polar ends. This region is known as your temperate regions. Okay, and okay, so in temperate, the amount of sunlight is okay, means it's not as like that of your equator regions. Okay, so we can say, like, if we think of Delhi as a region, so we can say, okay, it is somewhere between temperate and tropical. It's not exactly tropical, but it is more close towards your temperate regions. Okay, and the extreme polar ends, which are very, very cold, covered with ice, with a very low temperature, very low amount of sunlight, they form your polar regions. Okay, so the tropical, temperate, and polar, these classifications or these distinguish or these differences are based on the latitudinal variation of Earth. Means that is, if we move from equator to the polar regions. So the one that are near and close to the equator, which high amount of temperature, high amount of sunlight, and high amount of rainfall, those are your tropical regions. The one above those tropical regions, which has a moderate amount of temperature, neither too cold nor too hot, a minimal amount, means an adequate supply of sunlight is there, good amount of rainfall is there, that is your temperate grassland, and the extreme ends, they form your polar grassland. Okay, so these three terms are clear.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, okay, good. Now the second important part in this comes is your wait. Is the terminologies like what is rain forest and your deciduous term, or what is an evergreen, rainforest, and deciduous terms. Okay. Now, when you come, when we define rainforest, okay, so it simply implies that these will contain the forest that are growing in huge rainfall regions, or they need good amount of rain supply. Okay, or they are very green. Okay, Vera, is there someone's someone is not mute, Vera. किसी का अगर बुला है तो please mute yourself. ठीक है? Okay, thank you. Right, and deciduous forests are the one. Now the difference between rain and deciduous one is that in rain forests, okay, चलो पहले मैं deciduous के बारे में बता देती हूँ. Now in deciduous forest, they contain the trees that don't require that much of, or that they don't grow in those regions which has huge supply of rainfall or which has huge rainfall, but still they need adequate supply of water or adequate supply of rainfall. the forests have definite season for shedding their leaves. Okay, जैसे कि अगर आप autumn आएगा तो आपको autumn आएगा तो you will easily see कि सारे के सारे forests ने अपनी leaves को shed कर दिया है, ठीक है. In case of rain forests, the trees also, there also trees shed their leaves. But the difference here in deciduous and in rainforest is that in deciduous, all the different, even though those trees are different, but they all will shed their leaves in that definite season. हाँ, आगे पीछे ऐसा नहीं होगा कि उस सीजन में एक डेट पे ही सब लोग लीव्स अपनी शेड करेंगे. उस सीजन के ट्रांजिशन में ही दे विल शेड ऑफ देयर लीव्स. ओके, तो आप एक कंट्रास्ट देखोगे कि ओके इस फॉरेस्ट बिल्कुल आपको लगेगा कि फॉरेस्ट में कुछ भी नहीं है. यू कैन इजीली सी कि ओके दी ऑल द लीव्स ऑफ डिफरेंट ट्रीज हैव शेड देयर लीव्स. ओके, in case of tropical rainforest, each and every tree has this season. उस अपनी leaves shed नहीं करता है. So they appear to be green throughout year. Okay, so इस यहाँ पर क्या है कि ऐसा नहीं है कि trees won't shed their leaves. They will shed their leaves, but green throughout season because each tree is independently shedding off its leaf. पूरे का पूरा forest एक साथ अपनी leaf shed नहीं करता, unlike your deciduous forest. Okay, forests are different. They are different in that, of course, इसमें भी leaves shedding होती है, but बहुत लंबे So similarly, when I discussed about your tropical deserts, temperate, now deserts का मतलब होता है, जब भी हम desert सोचते हैं तो हमारे दिमाग में एक image आता है ऊंट का, रेतीले टीलों का, ठीक है? But deserts simply implies anything which is devoid of vegetation and has a fewer number of organisms. Now it can be a very, very hot one, like for example your Sahara desert, your Thar desert that at extreme of high temperatures. It can be a very, very cold desert, for example your Tibet, your Gobi desert. Gobi is the हो गया बेटा ये?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay. So now, first let us understand how the moisture, temperature, they are, or how the physical factors are playing a very important role controlling the vegetation of these different type of forests. Now see, here play an important role. This part जहाँ पर मैं arrow mark कर रही हूँ is the part which is considered as 100% moistened region. Okay, 100% saturated. और यहाँ पर हम कहते हैं almost moisture is nil. Similarly, on the another temperatures के term में यहाँ पर सबसे highest है. या बेटा बोलो.
Ma'am, I think you haven't shared your screen.
I think I have shared the screen. Beta,
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so it will be my problem, not mine.
No problem, Pallavi. What you can do is you can actually एक बार बाहर exit.
So I'll try to reconnect. Yes, ma'am.
ठीक है, and try to reconnect. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Fine. Okay. So and consider this as the highest of temperature and this as the coldest of temperature. Okay. So now we have to, हम independently किसी एक axis को नहीं ले रहे हैं, हमें दोनों ही. Of course, when we talk about temperatures, automatically two things will come. एक है adequate amount of sunlight, and your latitudinal variation. Okay. Now, adequate amount of sunlight का मतलब है कि we are talking mostly of the regions of equator regions, okay, or the low-lying regions. और जब हम decreasing temperature में cold के बारे में बात करेंगे तो latitudinal terms में it will be more close towards your polar regions, or in height terms, that is in terms of your height, it will be more towards your mountains or greater heights, okay, and they will be towards your more close towards your sea levels. ठीक है, सी लेवल्स का मतलब समुद्र के किनारे नहीं बोल रही हूँ मैं, इन टर्म्स ऑफ योर मीन सी लेवल हाइट के टर्म्स में बात कर रही हूँ. ओके. Now similarly, when I talk about wet, it implies that these are the regions that have a huge amount of rainfall, and if I talk about dry, these are the regions which have minimal supply of water. Okay, so we can see that these deserts which has very less amount of rainfall and very high temperature, they form. Now, one with the highest amount of rainfall, but the temperatures here are high. See, the temperature is very have adequate amount of rainfall. There are most of the regions which are close to the equator or under the equator. These are rainforests, okay? Or we can say them as a tropical rainforests. Okay, clear? अभी समझ में आ रहा है कि इसको पढ़ना कैसे है? Now this, हाँ, हमने basis पे कहा है on the basis of temperature. में है, those are tropical. और जैसे इसकी तरफ जा रहे हैं, they will be more arctic, or we can say it's more of the polar regions. और इन दोनों के बीच का जो ट्रांजिशन जोन है, those are your temperate. Clear? ठीक. और आपके मॉइस्चर के बेसिस पर जो रहे हैं वो है जो बहुत ज्यादा रेन फेड है, those are your rain forest. Somewhere in, और जो रेन फेड नहीं है, those are your desert, and somewhere in between these are your savannas. Okay. So now those forests which has huge amount of rainfall, of course they are rainforest, but because they are having a high temperature, so these are tropical. So they will be your tropical rainforest. Okay. Now as we move towards your equator regions, away from the equator regions towards your polar regions, or with the temperature as compared to those of your the tropical regions, this will be termed as your temperate. Now here also the rainfall is good, but because temperature is less, so the vegetation will be slightly lesser as compared to that of your wet, your rainforest. So these forests will be known as your temperate rainforest or your temperate. Okay. Now similarly, now these regions, they are your temperate grassland, because of course यहाँ पर आपका temperature भी कम है, ठीक, even though the moisture is good, but temperature is less. So unlike your savanna, जहाँ पे की shrubs थे, they are now with lesser number of species, which is in the form of your grasslands. Okay, and deserts is same as the deserts ecosystem, with some differences and slightly difference in variations in the vegetation. Okay, but these are your temperate deserts. Now tropical deserts में क्या होगा? Rainfall less होगा, लेकिन temperature बहुत high होगा. Temperate deserts में क्या होगा? Rainfall तो less है, but your temperatures are slightly decreasing. Okay. Similarly, as we are moving towards, see that the variation in the vegetation will be less, and they will be throughout your year will be almost of the same type, which is your evergreen forest. आपके इसमें coniferous forest आ जाते हैं, जिसमें कि आपका ज़्यादा variations नहीं होती vegetation में, and they cover the regions or which are known as your taiga. Okay. And for a region which are very cold, almost a very less amount of rainfall is there. Okay, and even if the rainfall is good, but because the temperature is very, very cold, the vegetation is almost nil. Mostly it is in the form of your lichens, mosses, completely covered with your snow. Okay, so these are your tundra regions. Okay, clear हो गया बेटा ये?
Yes, ma'am.
इस चार्ट को कैसे समझना है अभी समझ में आ गया, that how these climatic factors are actually influencing these different type of ecosystems. Okay, so this is another very good way of understanding your ecosystem. This is your annual precipitation and this is your annual temperature. So we can see that the two major and big factors that are controlling the different type of ecosystems are rainfall and temperature. Okay, and the temperature is mostly associated with, of course, your latitudinal and your longitudinal variations. Okay, so and that is why global warming is completely affecting this thing, because global warming का सबसे बड़ा impact आपके annual temperature पर पड़ रहा है, and we can see that this annual temperature is one of the most important factor as far different type of ecosystem is concerned. So just imagine एवरेज एनुअल टेम्परेचर है वो अगर बढ़ने लगेगा, सो कैन वी इमेजिन कि आपका या तो ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट और डेजर्ट और ऑफ कोर्स रेनफॉल डिक्रीज कर रहा है क्योंकि आपका क्लाइमेटिक चेंजेस हो रहे हैं बिकॉज ऑफ दिस ग्लोबल वार्मिंग। तो जब आपका रेनफॉल डिक्रीज, ज़्यादा एनुअल प्रेसिपिटेशन रेट कम की तरफ बढ़ेगा और आपके टेम्परेचर्स जो है वो ज़्यादा की तरफ बढ़ेंगे, सो वी कैन सी दैट दिस ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट विल ऑटोमेटिकली गो अवे, ठीक है, एंड इट विल बी मोर शिफ्टिंग टूवर्ड्स योर सब ट्रॉपिकल डेजर्ट्स और डेजर्टेड रीजन। and later in biodiversity we will see कि most of these species और आपके hot spots इनमें बस रहे हैं। इस आने का मतलब है that a huge percentage of biodiversity will also go off क्योंकि आपके deserts में we will see that there are very fewer number of species. Okay, so that is how this global warming is actually affecting the overall ecosystem distribution also. और जो आपने अभी पिरामिड पढ़ा उसी तरीके से है इसको पढ़ने का। This is even more simpler. That on the x-axis they have taken your annual temperature, and on the y-axis at the tip of your y-axis and the highest temperature on the tip of your x-axis. ठीक, यहाँ पर lowest temperature लिया इन्होंने -10 के अराउंड, ठीक, and annual precipitation में आपका यहाँ पर very less precipitation is there. Okay, so इस less वाले precipitation region में एकदम frigid region में आपका टुंड्रा है. So this region covers all the regions across the poles. आपके northern और southern poles के across जितना भी region है, that is your tundra vegetation. ठीक, the one जिसमें कि annual rainfall अभी भी वही है, but फिर भी थोड़ा सा temperature ज़्यादा है, they will be formed or covered majorly by grassland, or they will have no vegetation depending upon what annual amount of rainfall is there. अगर बिल्कुल भी rainfall नहीं है तो वो desert की तरफ shift होगा, और बहुत और कि थोड़ा रेनफॉल है सो इट विल बी इन अ फॉर्म ऑफ, और जिसमें कि बिल्कुल ही बहुत ज़्यादा रेनफॉल भी बहुत कम है, सो दे आर प्रीडोमिनेंट बाय सब ट्रॉपिकल डेजर्ट्स और ट्रॉपिकल डेजर्ट्स. फॉर एग्जांपल योर थार डेजर्ट इज देयर, योर सहारा डेजर्ट इज देयर, एटसेट्रा. ओके, in the African continent there are certain deserts. Okay, so they are also all your subtropical deserts because they are close. They have huge amount of temperature, but the annual precipitation is very low. So similarly, the temperate seasonal forests, they will be predominant in the regions with almost moderate amount of temperature, which is neither too cold nor too hot, and the annual precipitation is neither too high nor too low. Okay, so those are your temperate forests. Okay, but but in the same precipitation or a high precipitation regions, if they are growing in a very high temperature prone regions, then they are known as your tropical savanna forests. ठीक है, tropical savanna का मतलब है आप समझ लो कि वहाँ पर shrubs grow कर, trees are not very dense, they don't have a very dense foliage, they are not a very great height. These trees are somewhere in between. जैसे मैंने लिखा था ना आपको, एक सेकंड, this height, ठीक है, तो this height is actually your savanna trees. Okay. And then one would be very high amount of precipitation, but at the same time they have a very high amount of temperature. They are forests which are very dense. The trees have layers. Okay, और ये layers मैं आपको दिखाती हूँ, मैंने आपको यहाँ पे शायद से बताया होगा. They have some layer is there. ट्रीज का इतना ज्यादा हाइट है कि उन्होंने हाइट वाइज भी अपने लेयर को डेवलप कर लिया है. ठीक है, सो देयर आर द फॉरेस्ट फ्लोर, मींस ऑन द फ्लोर देयर इज एन अंडर स्टोरी लेयर जिसमें कि आपकी क्रीपर्स, क्लाइंबर्स, लायनास, ऑर्किड्स हैं. देन देयर इज अ कैनोपी जिसमें कि मीडियम हाइट वाले हैं, टॉप है. ठीक है, इनकी इतने ज्यादा हाइट का रीजन है क्योंकि इनका बहुत ही डेंस इकोसिस्टम है. ठीक, और सनलाइट एम्पल है, तो ट्रीज कंपीट करते हैं ज्यादा अमाउंट ऑफ सनलाइट के लिए, जिससे ग्रोइंग इन हाइट. मतलब ये है कि कौन ऊपर एक दूसरे के निकल सकता है ताकि उसको सनलाइट मिल सके. दैट इज व्हाई they are having a very great height. They grow up to very greater height. Okay, the deeper layers of these tropical rainforest, you will see that they are so dense कि नीचे में है ना ज्यादा सनलाइट ही नहीं पहुंचती है. रेनफॉल तो खूब है पर सनलाइट बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है. So those are predominant by ferns which require less amount of sunlight, but they can grow and thrive very well in huge amount of rainfall. Okay, so ये picture समझ में आ गया बेटा, ये graph समझ में आ गया? Good, fine. Okay, so now in order to understand these things, you and that is classified based on your location. Now ये आपकी global location के basis पर है, ठीक है? जब अगर आपके एग्जाम में इंडिया के बेसिस पे पूछा जाएगा कि इन इंडियन सब कॉन्टिनेंट, तो आपको ये लोकेशन चेंज करके इंडिया के टर्म्स में बताना होगा. सो इन इंडिया योर ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट इज इन द रीजन्स ऑफ सदर्न पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया में, सदर्न वेस्टर्न घाट्स में, ठीक है, सदर्न साउथ वेस्टर्न पार्ट ऑफ इंडिया. मैं अभी वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन भी आपको दिखाऊंगी, ठीक. उस साउथ वेस्टर्न पार्ट में योर पार्ट्स ऑफ केरला, सम वेस्टर्न घाट पार्ट्स ऑफ योर एकदम वेस्टर्न कोस्ट में जो आपके वेस्टर्न, उसमें एक थिन लाइन जाती है जो आपके ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट को कवर करेगा, ठीक है. तो जब आपको यहाँ एग्जाम्पल देना होगा, सो यू कैन गिव योर एग्जाम्पल ऑफ साइलेंट वैली इन केरला, okay, or the regions of Kerala that is present in this western Ghat region, they comprise of your tropical rainforest, okay. बाकी आपके सारे factors same रहेंगे, ठीक है. The emergent, see this is what classification of the trees I was telling you about, emergent lay, the canopy, the understory, the forest floor, okay. Now यहाँ पर आपका difference क्या हो जाएगा कि they have given an example, taken an example from different parts of the globe. Here you have to take the examples of the species that are there in India. Okay, तो आपको वो examples लेने होंगे. ये examples आपको बुक में मिल जाएंगे, नहीं होगा तो मैं इसमें एक टेबल जो है वो इंडियन के लिए भी प्रिपेयर करके आप लोगों को सर्कुलेट कर दूंगी, ठीक है. Now understory is the one which is a dark cool area canopy, but it is above the ground, ठीक. And of course the canopy region is the above understory region with a height of about 18 to 45 meters. So you can see that what is the height of the trees in the tropical rainforest, okay. So the canopy का है 1845, जो emerging to top layers है, they go up to somewhere around sometimes 60 and 70 meters, which is a very great height, okay. So branches here form the canopy like a big umbrella that shades the forest floor, okay, and 25,000 species of thick and woody vines occupy this canopy regions, and then there is your emergent layer, okay. Now soil. Now remember, when I say that they are nutrient poor, it implies that the minerals that are the magnesium, sodium, potassium, they. Now why is it so? Can anyone tell? Can anyone guess, or can anyone give an explanation? Can anyone think of any reason why the nutrient quality of this soil is very low? And now when I am referring to nutrient, it is the minerals like sodium, potassium, calcium, nitrogen, etc. Come on. Socho. Why? Okay, no answers, no guesses. Okay, then I'll tell you. Because of the very heavy rainfall, all the nutrients get swept away, gets dissolved in the water, and they go into a very deep layer water table. So they are, which we say it as a leaching. So all the important nutrients that are there in the soil, because of heavy rainfall, they get leached in the soil, okay, in the deeper layers of the soil, or they form the part of your water table, okay. That is why they have a very poor quality of nutrient, but they have a very good amount of humus, and organic content is very good. Now why is humus or the organic content is good?
मैम ह्यूमिडिटी तो इसलिए काफ़ी अच्छी होती है बिकॉज मैम क्योंकि देयर इज अ कंपटीशन फॉर द सनलाइट अमंग द ट्रीज. तो मैम क्योंकि उनकी हाइट काफ़ी ज़्यादा होती है, तो जो मतलब मैम जो मिडिल हाइट की जितने भी प्लांट्स होते हैं, जितने भी वेजिटेशन होते हैं, तो वो जो ट्रीज होती हैं, तो मैम उसकी वजह से जो मतलब ट्रांसपरेशन होता है, ट्रांसपरेशन की वजह से मैम वो जो है कि ह्यूमिडिटी मतलब बरकरार रहती है, और रेनफॉल होता है तो उसमें भी मैम ट्रांसपरेशन ज़्यादा अमाउंट में नहीं हो पाता है.
Okay, good, Pallavi. Okay, it's good. Now, Pallavi told about that why the humidity in these regions is very high. Very right. I'm asking about something different. I'm asking about humus. Okay, that black amorphous soil that forms the.
I heard that you were talking about humidity. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. It's fine, Pallavi. Every one of us also came to know about why the humidity is high in these regions. Okay. So I am also asking about humus, that is a black amorphous soil. Why are these regions rich in this type of soil?
Ma'am, is very high in
Falling over the surface of the soil, and as soon as they fall on the soil, because already your minerals like sodium, potassium, they are washed away by the heavy rainfall and they are not there in the soil. So in order to grow, immediately organic compound or your organic or the microorganisms, they will decompose them. And as soon as those nutrients or organic components are available to the soil, plants will immediately take them up. While they are immediately taking them up, because they know, or because they have evolved themselves, they have adjusted themselves to those changes, because they know that if they won't absorb those nutrients immediately, rainfall will wash that organic minerals and those minerals that are coming as a result of decomposition of those parts into the deeper layers. So that is how, even when the soil is not very good in nutrients like calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, etc., the plants or trees are able to take the nutrients from the nutrients that are coming from the decomposition of your organic compounds. And this organic component is primarily formed of your litter, and also because these thick vegetation are rich in providing the habitat for great biodiversity. So from there also, this soil gets huge amount of organic components. Okay. So now, of course, in terms of climate, light, and temperature, we have already discussed that the temperature is very, very high in these regions, and they receive ample and good amount of light. And as a result of this, of course, what will be the climate? Climate will be very humid, will be very sultry, it will be hot throughout the years. Winters, we cannot see much. We don't see any winters in these regions, and the rainfall, the average amount of rainfall is very, very high. Okay. Now, as far the animals are concerned, now here again you have to give an examples or cite examples of the animals which are found in the Indian continent when they ask you to compare your the different types of. However, they self okay. There are other, for example, your lion tail macaque. Okay. Now this is of course a sort of monkey. When we will discuss biodiversity, we will discuss more there. ठीक है, तो जब आप biodiversity में पढ़ोगे तो वहाँ से आप उन species का नाम उठाकर यहाँ डाल सकते हो. Okay. फिलहाल के लिए you just understand the concept of these forests and how they vary with location, with climate, light, and what location they occupy, and how they vary with the changes in these factors of climate, nutrients, plants, etc. Okay. Now, similarly, we come to your temperate forests. Now, of course, here the forests are further divided into 5 zones. Like they have a tree stratum, small tree, shrub zone is there, herb zone is there, and ground zone is there. And the trees don't have that thick foliage, unlike that of the rainforest. So each layer ample supply of your light. Okay, and most of these regions are covered by deciduous forest or deciduous trees. Okay, now Indian subcontinent में आपके deciduous trees के examples है, उसमें आपके यही आते हैं, your neem, peepal, mango, and the trees that we found mostly close to us, ठीक है, like jamun, ये सारे trees आपके deciduous forest में आते हैं. Okay, they are mostly in your deciduous regions. Okay, so of course trees shed their leaves in the severe of the cold and in the severe of the hot regions, and and of course mostly they are the deciduous regions. So just go through them, apne dekh lena. And the nutrient supply is good here in this region because moderate rainfall hai, so nutrient की बहुत ज़्यादा washing नहीं होती है. So these temperate regions are having a good supply of nutrient, humus content or organic content as compared to that of your rainfall. Okay. Now the average temperature here is in the Fahrenheit. I think I'll change this in Celsius, okay, so that it will be easier for you to understand. Okay, and your average rainfall is of course 30 to 60 inches in a precipitation year. Now this, when you will multiply by 2.5, you will get your answers in centimeters. Okay, so it's around 60 to 100 centimeters of annual rainfall is there in these regions. Okay, and in winter regions there is a snow. So we can see that there's a quite lot amount of temperature variations because they are present in the regions between your cold and your very, very hot regions. Okay. So then they have examples of animals and your locations. Okay. Now, of course, again in India, when if they ask you about in India, then you have to mention the regions of India, not across the globe. I'll prepare one chart with India also. Okay, so that it will be easy. Okay. Now, similarly, we come to the grasslands. Now, grasslands are also classified based on what latitude and longitude they are covering. Now, of course, as I had already mentioned, those grasslands that are very close to the polar, the one in the transition zone between your very cold and very hot regions, those are your temperate, and the grasslands which are present in a very, very savannas. Okay, so these will be the grassland that will receive moderate amount of rainfall. क्योंकि अगर बिल्कुल कम रेनफॉल हो जाएगा और बहुत हाई टेम्परेचर हो जाएगा, then this no more will remain grassland. It will change into your desert, your tropical deserts. Okay, so they have moderate amount of rainfall, but the temperatures here are high. Then that is your savanna. Go through the examples. Go through the your annual rainfall, annual temperatures in these regions, and what different parts of the globe they cover. Okay, so there here is a table that will find. Oh, it's 12:03. I'm sorry. Okay, I think I'll discuss this later. You have a class, beta? अभी class है आपका?
Yes.
Anam?